You are a stroke risk. That was the words that my doctor used. That was my warning sign. That was my immediate indicator that I needed to do something different. And what made those words even scarier was I had been in a doctor's office with a loved one when their doctor had told them the exact same thing. And then 3 months later, they had a stroke. I say that because I couldn't afford for that to happen to me. That was my immediate warning sign that you have got to stop, assess, reevaluate, make adjustments, whatever is needed to make sure that the same thing doesn't happen to you. And so the best thing I will say is that I was at a doctor's office, right? And so I would begin by encouraging you, if you have not already, just set a physical, make sure you're going to your regularly scheduled appointments. Sometimes as caregivers, we can get so passionate and involved in our loved ones' care that we don't schedule our own self-care checkups, check-ins, etc. I say all of this because we need to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves. I remember checking my loved one's blood pressure and not checking my own. It was when I began to check my own blood pressure that I realized something was very wrong. I found myself in an emergency room, right? Because my blood pressure was so high. Those are the things that you need to know. And if you're not checking it, you could end up in a place you don't want to be, right? Again, this is not to scare you. This is not to dissuade you. This is to give you information that you can use to make adjustments, right? So I have a caregiver self-care audit assessment that I'm going to provide to you. This assessment is not medical advice. It's not a diagnosis. All it is, sometimes when you're caregiving, you can't see the forest for the trees. All you see is every tree of everything that you need to do. You can't see the big picture. This self-care audit assessment is designed so you can actually gauge, step in, see, I need to make adjustments. It's going to hit all the areas of your life, right? It's going to hit all the things that you're not even thinking about right now that may have been placed on the back burner so you can do. It's just going to give you an opportunity to see, is my slip showing, right? And that's saying, any of you that were raised in the church when you were a little kid, your mom, your aunt, your grandmother, cousin, whoever it was in your life gave you a slip whenever you wore a dress or a skirt. And that was just a modesty. If the wind blew, if you sat down, whatever, if your dress was too sheer, a slip gave you kind of that backstop. And so I say that because as caregivers, we may not know if our slip is showing. You need to make sure you have a community of individuals around you that can give you some input, right? Objective feedback. Right? When they say, how are you doing? And you're like, oh, I'm great. They can look at you and say, sis, you're not great. Hey, friend, you're not great. Something's going on. You need to check in. Your slip is showing. I say all of this because you need to make sure you have that community that can speak to you lovingly so you can make those adjustments. We went over all the statistics about mental wellness, physical wellness, mortality of caregivers. It wasn't to scare you. It was to give you an alarm that your self-care is critically important, not just to yourself, but to everyone you care for, right? You need to be healthy, wealthy, and well. So I give you all of this just as an indicator. I want you to take time to take the assessment. 5 pages. It's going to hit all the areas. You don't have to print it out. You can write your answers on a separate piece of paper. You can look at it and just kind of gauge, right? Wow. At the end of that assessment, there is a grade that you're going to give yourself. And the grade is kind of on you taking the culmination of everything you've responded in all the other areas and saying, Honestly, would I give myself an A, B, C, D, or F? Now, when I say you're going to give yourself a grade, you need to understand that is not your grade as a caregiver, like the duties that you are completing and doing on behalf of your loved one. Let me tell you right now, you have an A plus 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 plus, right? You might have family members that are critiquing how you're doing, right? While they proceed to not help you or support you. Do not ignore all of that, right? Everyone always has input on what you could be doing better for the loved one. It might be a sibling, someone else. Had you thought about, you get an A plus, 110% extra credit. You're doing a great job as a caregiver. This assessment is about how are you doing caring for yourself. That's all it is. Are you caring for you? You've got to be drinking your water. You've got to be hydrated. You've got to find time to get out and move and exercise. You've got to find time to relax, relate, release, right? That's what this is about. I want you to look at this. It's not, again, this is not judgment. This is just an opportunity for you to say, got it. I need to make an adjustment because I'm imbalanced. And it may just be that you're doing very well and it's just one area. But when you get imbalanced in one area, it starts to spill into another and another. And so it might just be, like I said, an early indicator. This assessment is free. You'll download it. You can take this assessment at any point, right? So do it today. And today you may have A plus 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 on how you're caring for yourself. Pick it back up a month from now, 3 months from now. Do the assessment. How are you doing? And like I said, it's only to assess how you are individually. It's not designed to critique or judge or cast input on your task as a caregiver. That's it. I look forward to you going in here, taking that assessment. Do not tell me your results. This is just for you. You don't have to tell anyone else, but I will say, if you find that there are warning signs, make sure you get help for yourself, right? You reach out and get that additional support. I am going to just give you a tidbit. If your company has, most of you who work in corporate, your company might have something called an EAP, and they'll tell you it's 24/7. You can reach out, counseling, support services, etc. And you definitely should if they've provided it, but you should be aware of the following. One of the things that they may and likely will ask you when you call in is, do you mind if this is recorded? Or it will just tell you this is being recorded. If you object, you should let us know. Do not hesitate to say, right? As soon as they say, what's your name? I don't want this recorded. You can make that request and they have to stop recording. Another thing you should know is that if you use your company's EAP, not to dissuade you at all, but it is discoverable if anything you're saying is related to your job, your performance, and there's a dispute at a later point, right, with your employer. Again, not to dissuade anyone. If you need support, you need support. But you need to know if you call those resources that are offered by your company, those things may be in play. You do need to make sure if you see warning signs, if you see indicators, that you find someone that you can reach out to that can hold confidence, that can give you objective feedback. Not your friend that's like, yeah, that's right, girl. You know, they're just going to agree with everything you're saying. You need someone that's going to say, hey, had you considered that maybe you should, right? You should ask for help. Had you thought about? Make sure you have someone that can give you that ability to see the bigger picture outside of what you're doing day to day. That's all I have for you today. This is an important step. Make sure you're taking it. Make sure you're remembering yourself, right? And I thank you for joining in. Please like, share with any caregivers that you are aware of. If you're not the caregiver yourself, make sure they're aware of this so they can get this assessment and take that just that insight into what they could be doing differently, better, or where they have warning signs of areas that they need to make adjustments. All right. Thank you.